So before we start this new trading week, I want to give you guys, and a new trading month, my bad. I want to give you guys a quick breakdown on the last 2 trades that we took inside the VIP that you guys saw inside the free Telegram. We end up closing out the week with 2 back-to-back trades, right? So actually one of them was called out on Thursday that we end up hitting a 1-3 risk to reward. And on Friday, we also end up closing out another position that end up playing out as well for a 1-3 risk to reward. So beautiful trade back-to-back. I want to give you guys a quick breakdown so you guys can actually understand the way that I trade every single day. And if you guys are new to the Telegram, you guys can literally scroll up all the way up top. And we've been in a very strong winning streak for almost 2.5 weeks already. We're coming into the 3rd week. Hopefully this week we do have an amazing week as well, an amazing month overall. So I just want to give you guys a quick breakdown so you guys really understand the way that I trade. I'm not going to go fully down into detail, but I do want to point you guys the exact way that I trade. So we're looking at 2 trades here. We're looking at the first trade here that was taken on Thursday. This was Thursday morning. We end up closing out over 500 pips at a 1-3 risk to reward. Over here on Thursday, we also scaled in another position, but the market was pretty slow on Thursday late Asian session, and we end up hitting our final take profits on Friday New York session. So I want to point out just a few things, right? Exactly the way that I trade. So the way that I trade, I have to focus on 3 specific things, right? The first thing here that I need to focus on is, the trend of the market. Where exactly is the market heading? Is it heading towards the upside or is it heading towards the downside? The second thing that I need to focus on with my trading strategy, my trading system, is looking for key levels that has higher probability that price is going to have reactions, right? And what do I mean by that? I'm going to be looking for a key level, let's say maybe supply zone, demand zone, support or resistance zone, where price action have higher probability of actually having a sweep and then continue the direction towards the opposite side. So I got to look for an exact zone that price probably has reacted multiple times in the past. So let's say that it reacted here one time and then price is coming back towards this level. This is going to be my high probability level due to the fact that price has already reacted from it one time. So once we do see a reaction, the third thing I need to look for is for the volume to come into the market. And the volume, it's very simple, right? What I mean by volume, I need to see 3 or maybe I can say 2 to 3 specific things to happen, right? Which is going to be step number 3. I need to wait for first the rejection of that exact key level, which is going to be a liquidity sweep. So once price session has a liquidity sweep and we're noticing that price is, reacting from this exact level and now heading towards the opposite direction, the second thing I need to notice or see in this point here is for price to give me a break of structure above the previous trend. So let's say that price was heading towards the downside, creating lower lows and lower highs, right, on a lower time frame perspective. This goes based on the 5-minute all the way to the 15-minute time frame. And once I do see that price is giving me that exact perspective and we finally broke out of it, I need to see a strong volume candle, which is going to be known as an imbalance. That imbalance is going to be my confirmation, which indicates that, hey, this is actually a good possibility that price is going to start heading towards the opposite side. So I'm not going to be entering my trade based on the first touch. I'm going to be entering as soon as price gives me those momentum, that exact pattern. So again, I need the liquidity sweep, I need the break of structure, I need the retest of the imbalance, and then price continuing the trend back towards the upside. So in this exact setup, what we're going to point out here is exactly the zone that price tapped into. So notice this. Obviously, last week we were in a bearish market, and this goes back from the previous 2 weeks ago. So if you guys take a look here on the weekly time frame, we can notice how price was having reaction from this week here, which was May 18, and we also had this other reaction from here, which is May 11th. So on May 11th, we did notice that price, obviously, once we tap towards these levels here, if you guys go into the 4-hour time frame, right, notice how price from this exact perspective, we retested this exact bearish imbalance, which follows this one right here, this bearish candle here. And notice how price tapped into it twice, not once, but twice, and rejected from it. So all of this entire buyer volumes from here got exhausted from this point here. Why is that? Because we retested the original imbalance where sellers stepped into the market. And the same case happened here. If you guys take a look in this one, price started having a reaction from this entire imbalance zones. So you guys can go here on the daily time frame and notice how price was having a reaction from this exact imbalance, right? And this is exactly how I trade. I'm just looking at exactly the zones where there's a lot of volumes into the market. In this case here, we're focusing on imbalances. We have another one here where price was just having reaction from it. And then buyers got exhausted from this entire push and then started pushing price towards the opposite direction, right? So we're going into the last week where obviously we did see that price reacted from here. We sold off. What happened in this case? On the 4-hour time frame, right? This is where I want you guys to notice. On the 4-hour time frame, there was two things that happened. One, we disrespected this entire bullish imbalance. And what I mean by disrespected is that, again, usually then when price comes back to retest it, it has to show reaction from it, rejection and reaction, showing that, there's a possibility that price is not going to head towards the opposite direction. So in this case, we had a nice bullish push towards the upside, but we tapped into here. And then that's exactly where price disrespected it. If price would have respected and actually bounced from it, then this here would have been valid, but that's not the case. Price disrespected. We close underneath. Check this out. We literally close underneath here. So in that case here, that means that this imbalance here is no longer valid, and we're just simply going to move it towards the left side. Because now here is where we have the bearish imbalance following from the 4-hour time frame, right? And you can see that price on Friday as well had the same exact reaction from it. You guys can see how it reacted from it, and we kind of sold off, but that's not the case right now. But notice, this was on Friday from the 15th. Price drops all the way down here. Price comes back. We retest and we started seeing some seller volume into the market. Once again, the beginning of last week, market comes back once again over here. We retest it and we sold off. So finally, we sold off and we finally broke underneath the level that is right over here. This exact key level here, which is sitting at the 44.80, and this was a level that price has been holding since, again, the 17th. We've been holding since the 19th, and we finally broke underneath it the 27th. So finally, price broke underneath the structure. We're no longer trading in these ranges. And you guys can see the price action on the daily time from how it was very indecisive. Price was respecting high, price was respecting lows. And then on Thursday, I believe this was Wednesday, Wednesday, we finally saw that price had a reaction from it. We broke underneath. We tapped into the 44.20. You guys can see the 44.20. What exactly is it? It's a level where buyers previously stepped in. And then we started seeing a push towards the upside. Now, you guys can see how price retested twice, reacted from it, but obviously bearish continues to win since we do have this bearish imbalance coming up from here. You guys can see this, right? This bearish imbalance from right over here. And as well, follow with the trend, follow with the VWAP, and follow with the volume. Trend is still winning. You guys can clearly see this. The VWAP is all over here. So price just simply came back, broke underneath structure, retested. That level was weak, and then price broke underneath. Now, once price broke underneath, because again, this level here was pretty weak. In worst case scenario, if you wanted it to go 100% bullish, we needed to see more bullish price action. Price probably needed to respect somewhere around here and then continue pushing higher and finally break above the 44.80. If that was the case, then yes, this level here was 100% valid, 100% strong, and we would have seen a stronger push towards the upside. But that wasn't the case. It was a weak zone. What happens next? Price finally breaks underneath this level and we tapped into a lower zone, which is the 43.70. And if you guys take a look at the 43.70, you guys take a look here on the left side, what exactly is it? Another level where buyers previously stepped into the market. So we have buyers stepped into the market right over here. We have buyers stepped into the market right over here, right? So you guys can see how buyers stepped in, pushed the market up. Buyers stepped in and started pushing the market back towards the upside. Clean. So this is exactly what I mean by looking for high probability zones. Zones where price has already had a reaction from it, right? Now check this out. Notice how I did not enter the market right away. What I needed to wait for was for first, seller to be exhausted, showing that buyers are not stepping into the market. How you guys can clarify that? You guys can go into the 4-hour time frame and just notice how the candle closes and as well how the wick closes from a daily time frame perspective. Just like this. It's just a wick. On the hourly time frame, notice the candle. The candle went from being strong, strong, strong to slowly dying off, exhausted. So now, my job here is to wait for the market to give me the setup and not me chasing the market. Because if that was the case, if I would have chased the market, there were going to be probably a 50% that the trade might have gone the opposite side. Probably would have respected all of this and continued pushing lower, right? And how you guys can clarify that, it's simply how price here on the 30-minute time frame. Notice how we had a reaction right over here. And what exactly the price reacted? You guys take a look on the hourly time frame. Price reacted from this exact bearish imbalance. right? So price reacted from this bearish imbalance. So let's say that in my case, I probably entered the market off a breakout. So let's say we enter off here on the 5 minute, we probably took a position. Let's say we took it right over here. My stop loss was underneath these lows. This is called early buyers. This is exactly why you never want to be first. You want to wait for the market to give you guys the actual setup before you guys actually execute the trade, because you guys would have easily gotten stopped out. And same thing for sellers. If you don't wait for your setup, you guys would have easily gotten stopped out as well, right? So here we notice that price reacted from this 30-minute imbalance or the hourly imbalance right over here, right? So why did price started respecting lower time frame perspective? It's very simple. We go into a 15-minute time frame perspective, right? Check this out. We respected the first thing first, which was the key level, which is all of this key level, right? Here on the 5-minute time frame, we're noticing that price is having a type of bullish reaction. We respected. This was the last lower high. Price broke above it. And then price right over here, we build up a bullish fair value gap, which is all of this zone here. So this is where buyer stepped into the market. This is where buyer, broke above these highs here and started creating new highs. New higher lows. These lows are higher than the last lows that was formed. So we're already seeing bullish price action steps into the market, but we're not ready to take the trade yet, because now we need to wait for the opposite things. We need to see more volume, and we also need to be trading the session that we trade. So this is exactly where my plan started happening on Thursday. Right over here, as soon as we finally stepped in, right? And I want you guys to take a look here on the 30-minute time frame perspective, right? Or the hourly time frame perspective, we do have this bullish imbalance right over here. Remember this entire one right here. Notice how price rejected it once. We respected this entire support, and then we finally started seeing the volume step in, which is this entire bullish imbalance, right? This entire candle right over here, guys. After respecting all of this. So now we got everything that we wanted, right? And we finally broke above, once again, the 4420, which is this entire key level here. So all you guys got to do, just simply highlight that and just wait for price action to give you guys the reaction from it. And notice what exactly it did. We had the bullish imbalance. Price came back underneath here. We retested it multiple times and we got the breakout. Once we got the breakout, this right here, guys, was my entry signal. This was a 5-minute bullish engulfing candle, retesting the key support of 4420, retesting the imbalance, right? After following this entire bullish perspective, bullish sweep from these lows, bullish price action from lower time frame, bullish volume stepping into the market, price coming back, retesting the imbalance, retesting the key support, breaking above these highs here. And that's exactly where I take my trade. Beautiful execution, price broke above. What happens next, guys? We got the same exact setup, but above this key level. You guys take a look on the hourly time frame. We have another bullish imbalance candle right here, guys. So we wait for the same story. Price comes back, we retest, and we just wait for our entry confirmation. My entry confirmation was simply how the sellers were being exhausted. The seller stepped in here, seller died off right over here. We retested bullish imbalance, price started breaking above, we came back, and I took my entry right here, guys. Market was kind of slow until Friday, and obviously Friday morning after the volume stepped in, we end up hitting our final take profit. So that is exactly the trade that we took on Thursday and Friday. Very, very simple. And if you guys take a look here inside the free Telegram, you guys can see that everyone end up making money. You guys can literally see all of this entire results. We got one person, he turned $100 to $300. We have another person right over here. That is the second day trading, $100 to another $300, and we kind of go up all the way up over here. We have a member making over $227. We have another member here making thousands of dollars, as you guys can see. $1,275, $35, $100, $7, $27, $385. You guys can literally see the results. We have other member here, $130 to $1,500. Like, look at that. And as you guys can see, this is a live account. We got more members over here, almost $3,000 in profit. This guy member made over $2,000. So every single trade, myself, I made over $5,000 in this trade here. Beautiful way to close out the month. Every member here also made a lot of money in this trade. So I'm very, very happy that I'm able to, you know, provide you guys with all of this entire knowledge and provide you guys with all of this entire signals. So beautiful trade. As well, I called out this trade completely for free inside the free Telegram. So if you guys go all the way up over here, this was the trade. I even sent it out to you guys. Look at this. I even sent it out. We ended up hitting the first take profit, which was 100 pips. But I told the VIP to enter. And that's exactly why you guys need to be in the VIP. Because you guys only going to get maybe 1-3 free signals daily. But the VIP is always going to get signals. So I'm glad I'm able to show you guys the results on the last trade that we took Thursdays and Friday. We're stepping into a new week, a new month. Very excited. So I hope I see you guys in every single trade that we take and you guys make a lot of money. I'll see you guys soon.